Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new moon cycle, new energies. We're looking at December 2021 new moon cycle energy insights. So the new moon starts December 4th, according to our calendar. And it's an exciting month. I know it's like pretty chaotic right now, but I have been shown that it's going to be an exciting month in a good way, in a very good way. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Jackie Ellis. I'm from JackieEllis.com. I'm an intuitive guide and mentor and Reiki master. My friends call me an energetics master because I help people decode the energy within them so that they can create a life that they love. And that's my purpose. That's my purpose, to help people in this world to figure out what they're feeling, figure out how to navigate those energies, and to really step into their power once again. So, all this year, I felt like we have been getting more and more creative energy built within us. And it's like we were birthing a new age. And that's really what I was showing at the end of 2020, is that we would be birthing a new age. Oh, goodness. It's exciting. Kind of a shut the front door moment. And I got a little scratchy throat going on right now. I don't know what's going on there. Probably because some of the stuff I'm going to talk about isn't comfortable for me, for my 3D self. So I as always, I have like notes. I have notes, but I will oftentimes be going off those notes as Spirit gives me the words to say. And that I get out of my own way and allow Spirit to talk through me and say what needs to be said for those that happen to be watching this. So, thank you again for joining me. Thank you for including me as part of your journey. And as always, if you resonate with any of this or feel like you would like to share this message in any way, please do so. Like, share, subscribe to my channel. Also, just as a side note, Soul Talk members have the opportunity to discuss this particular video at a deeper level on Saturday, December 4th. We are getting together at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're not a Soul Talk member, want to be, it's not too late. If you aren't a Soul Talk member and aren't sure but would like to join us, you can book that on my website through the booking appointment page on my website under group sessions. Okay, so let's get started. We have, up until now, we have been really like, there's been a lot going on over the last, not only 2021, but also most of 2020. And it really is a birthing of a new age. And I say that because we are in we're in that moment where we're giving birth, and there's some chaos happening right now, and it's not pleasant for people. It's very triggering for people. There's a lot of changes that are happening. There are towers being shook, and there's some fallout. There's some fallout from from leadership positions that have maybe made some questionable decisions in their past, and they're having to face them in some way. And so there's a cleanse happening right now as we go into December, and we are truly forging our way through a new beginning. But what my spirits, what my guides want to reiterate to you is that we need to keep an open mind about what's ahead. Big changes are happening to many of our foundational systems. And I've said this over and over again. There's going to be governmental changes. There's going to be financial changes. There's going to be medical system changes, education system changes. Church bodies may shift somewhat, and they'll need to shift because the truth that is going to be revealed, that there's key parts of our history that have been kept from us, that have been written and rewritten with missing crucial parts, missing crucial information, and we've believed it because we were conditioned to not listen to our ancestors when they were trying to tell us that it didn't happen that way. So there's a cleansing happening so that we can correct and honor those that went through that situation in a way that is honoring to our ancestors and really holding compassion for everyone. We are all broken in some way. Not broken, I don't like that term, because from God's point of view, we are perfect in every way. Even if we make choices, whatever choices we make, we have this free will to make those choices. But we all have been conditioned to believe something that may have not aligned with who we are or what we've experienced or what our ancestors experienced, and there has been manipulation happening for thousands of years. And a lot of people will say that this is only like within the last 100 years or so. I call bullshit. And I don't necessarily like to swear very often on these videos because I don't know who's watching, but it's bullshit. We have been manipulated for thousands of years, and the truth has to come out. The truth has to come out in some way. And if we start with the first 100 years, the past 100 years, then so be it. But the truth will come out. And many of us are starting to remember many of us are actually starting to get messages from our ancestors, or remember past lives, or start to see things that being revealed that we didn't know happened, but we recognize as truth as happening. There's just something deep inside of us that went, yeah, that makes sense. And so I want you to, whatever you're feeling through this, like there may be stuff that come up that is button up against old beliefs or triggering you in some way. So there's like events that are happening in the world that are very triggering because you've either experienced it or you had ancestors that experienced it, and that pain was not released. That trauma was not released in some way and healed. And so I want you to recognize that. I don't want you to discount that. I want you to recognize that pain and trauma. And I want you to allow yourself to just heal through that. Release that trauma pain and send love to your ancestors, send love to yourself through this, and really don't hold on to the pain, don't hold on to the anger, don't hold on to the frustration, because ultimately the people who created those situations, some of their ancestors may be here now, but the people that, you know, manipulated those situations in the past are not. They made their own decisions. They made their own decisions, and unfortunately, it hurt a lot of people in massive ways that they probably didn't realize, or maybe they did. Maybe they were just power hungry. But those are the decisions that they made. Those are that's their karma that they're going to have to deal with. They're going to have to resolve. And you don't want to add any more karma to you to have to try and, like, you know, repeat these same patterns of struggle and strife and hurt and worry and anxiety and pain and like all of that. Those karmic loops are because you're holding on to, or your ancestors held on to, this generational pain, this trauma, this anger, this guilt, whatever it might be. And when we send forgiveness and love to everyone involved, including ourselves for holding on to it because we didn't know that's what we were doing. And then we release. We cut those energetic cords and we release the energy. We can allow ourselves to heal in the moment. And when we're doing that, we are actually focusing on what matters. When there are shifts and changes to our foundational systems that I mentioned earlier, the government, financial, medical, education, and church bodies, there may be things that happen that are very uncomfortable and can bring up stuff for us. So I want you to think about what matters most to you. What matters most to you in your day. You know, are the people that you are close to, your family unit, whatever that might look like. It might look like your blood family. It might look like your friends. It might look like this online community that you have become close with because they have become your family. What matters to you in this moment? Whatever matters to you most is what I want you to focus on. So if those other things that are coming up don't help you move forward in developing those important relationships or stepping into your purpose for life, or helping move your family forward in some way. Like if holding on to all those past things of how things were that may not be how they're going to be in the future, if holding on to the past is not helping you move forward, what do you need to release in order to see what's possible for you? What I want you to explore the following questions that I was asked to say. Are you holding on to the past because of uncertainty to what may be? What if the changes were better for all of us? What if the changes happening give us our freedoms once again? And I want you to remember those questions as we go through the next few days and the next month, because there are going to be shifts and changes to life as we knew it. And I don't know specifically what those changes are going to be, but I've been told that and shown multiple times that it's all for our greater good. And I keep doing readings and reconfirming, and it's going to be an awesome month if we're open to what's available to us. And that's the key here. So, as always, I'm going to discuss the 6 pillars of life: career, relationships, health, wealth, personal development, and spirituality. Now, I will preface this that when I talk about wealth, I mean the quality of your life, not just your financial state. Because you can be dirt poor and still be living a wonderful quality of life based on how you are defining your quality of life for you. And that's truth. That is very, very true. And I'll get into that a little bit going forward. Not to say that we're not going to have a money system and we're going back to the ages where we're, foraging the land and trading goods and stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. Might actually be kind of interesting to experience at some level. I don't think we'll go back that far. Just saying. Okay. Coffee's going to be very cold by the end of this, but that's fine. I'll just, warm it up or drink cold coffee. Okay, so career. Let's talk about career. The message that I got for career was there are big changes and huge momentum that is coming in for careers going forward. There are big changes and huge momentum for careers going forward. So what does that mean for you? What could that mean for you? It could mean that partnerships will expand possibilities for you. It could mean that you need to prepare for more possibilities, be more open-minded to new ways of doing things. It may mean that, we've always done it this way is no longer going to be possible. It's like, when CEOs and CFOs start quitting the company, there may be some changes from a foundational level on how that company is going to be run, what they're going to be doing, what they're going to be making, that sort of thing. There's going to be changes. What does that mean for you specifically? It may mean that you may change positions to be in a role that is more suited to your personality, more suited to your purpose in life. It may mean that you, if you're unemployed right now, the markets, the local markets will open up, where job markets will open up, and you will get the opportunity to join a company that is more suited for you. And if you're an entrepreneur, it may mean that you things will open up easier for you. Things will expand easier for you. Maybe you will meet people, or maybe you already know people that you are being guided to partner with, so that you can get the messages out for your common business type niche and help people more. And it's exciting. It's an exciting time. It's an exciting possibility. And I, for one, am looking forward to it and loving this outlook. So if you're if you are, sorry, I just got told I was gonna move forward to the next section, relationships, but I was told to talk about the parts that, good outlooks are great, but what about the people that are struggling right now? What about the people that may see a shift in things that look scary? How do they handle that? So it comes down to a lesson in, do you trust yourself, and do you trust God? Do you trust yourself, and do you trust God? There is a level of when you lose your job, it's like there fears around security and safety come up constantly, and it's a healing opportunity, honestly. And I know this because I've been through it. I was, for 25 years, I was an industrial engineer, and I literally worked myself out of a job because I was improving companies, and to the point where they didn't think they needed my position anymore. So it's like, okay, move on to the next one. So I would literally work myself out of a job, in a good way, but it didn't felt that way. It didn't feel that way when I was doing it, because, as soon as I was laid off, it was very much all these fears would come up, and I'd find myself having to work through them and sort through them, and then find that trust within myself to know that, I would be okay. I would be okay no matter what. It was realizing that maybe that position wasn't suited for the person I am now. It was good for when I was the person I was then, but it's not suited for who I am now, and what's possible for me going forward. Where do I need to be going forward? And as I look back on my career, there was different industries, different opportunities that came my way, and they were very different and well-rounded, and it gave me, it was scary in the moment, but it also showed me that my skill sets were very versatile in those ways, in different ways than I expected. And I was always provided for at some level. And it hasn't been easy. From an emotional standpoint, because there's been a lot of bumping up against energy around safety and security, but I want to share that Well, there's a term that is often talked about as like, you have made it this far, you've had 100% success in surviving. You have had 100% success in surviving. And you will going forward. In fact, if we are more open to what's possible, we often find opportunities often find us that are way better than we could ever imagine. And I'm going to repeat that because it's a very key point here. When we are open to what's possible, opportunities come to us that are far better than we ever thought possible. So I had to learn to not have like a specific set of expectations, to be open to moving into different roles and different possibilities depending on what was available out there, and really explore what that could mean. And sometimes I stepped into a role that I didn't understand was what it meant for me, but I just felt called to do it. I felt the pull to do that specific position. And what I learned about myself in those situations was far more valuable than whatever I was being paid. So, when you are open to what's possible, opportunities will come to you that will be far better than you ever thought possible. Remember that the overall message for career was there are big changes and huge momentum for careers going forward. It may not be how you thought it would look, but it may be far greater or far better than you ever thought possible. Okay. Relationships. Big reminder for this one is to pause and reflect to see what the different perspectives are. This could be a relationship with yourself. It could mean relationships with other people. But we really need to pause and reflect instead of just reacting. Pause and reflect to see if there's a different perspective. So a lot of times when we are triggered, whether that's triggered from something that we've come across, some thought that we had, or trigger from someone else. Someone else said something that triggered us in some way. Well, in that case, it's very much an ish me if I'm triggered. If they're triggered, it's an ish them. It's an ish you and not an ish me. But an ish me is my trigger to work through. What does it mean to me? Why am I triggered? What's the perspective here? If someone said something, it's like finding out, why does that matter to me? What does that have to do with my journey? Because obviously I'm triggered by it. I don't blame the other person. I don't point fingers at the other person. In fact, I look at it personally as a way for me to go, thank you for showing me what I needed to learn. Because sometimes people will do things that are good for them. So if they walk away from a conversation and you're triggered, They are giving themselves the space they need. So if you're triggered by that, that's probably because you aren't giving the space to yourself to do what you need to do in life. You aren't giving yourself the space to heal what you need to heal. And I say that with love because I was triggered by my own husband giving himself space. And I was shown in that moment that I was not honoring my own space for myself. I was not honoring my own boundaries. God was lovingly showing me that through the trigger. And so before I reacted, well, actually mid-reaction, in that case, I didn't catch it before. I didn't pause long enough, and I was mid-reaction, found myself stepping into the space and went, why am I invading his space? And I literally backed out of the space. And so pause before react. Pause before react, and then try and see things from a different perspective. So if things are happening in the world right now, it's very chaotic right now. It is, you can't look outside of yourself without seeing some level of chaos in the world. And it's triggering. It's triggering on many, many fronts. And so I want you to pause and try and look at things from a different perspective. Try and, instead of looking at things from a perspective of why are they doing this, try and look at it like, why does that event trigger me? What do I need to heal from? What's the message here? Are the beliefs that I'm holding about certain situations, is the information that I'm being shown true? Or even though that's not what I've been taught for many years, what does that mean for me? Is there some truth there? And it's working through those situations. It's working through the, how do I feel? And if I agreed with this new way of looking, this new perspective of looking at things, what would that mean for me and my life? Would I be freer because I could release the burdens that were placed on me through these conditions? And it's working through those things from a personal level so that we can actually have healthier relationships with other people. It is strengthening our relationship with ourselves so that we can be there for other people. We can't be there for other people if we are a mess inside. We can try, and we can do it together if the relationship is healthy. But it's really, if we aren't loving ourselves through our own journey, then it's going to be very, very difficult to give love from an empty cup. And so we need to be able to know how to give ourselves enough love to love ourselves and love our journey so that we can give that love to other people. Give from an overflowing cup instead of just give from ourselves and then have nothing left but scraps for us. Now, I will say that for some of us, the not all of the relationships will last in our life. Some relationships will gain. There will be a shift that will happen. But if the relationships matter to you and you truly want to nurture that relationship, then, but you need a break in some way. You need to give them space so that you can, or give yourself space so that you can heal, so that you can work through what you need to work through, so that they have the opportunity to work through what they need to work through. That's okay. That's okay. There, space is important when it comes to relationships, because when we are in each other's space and it's really uncomfortable, that's where the conflict can happen. That's where the I need to fix you shadow comes in. That's the over responsibility. I'm the only one that can help you, so I'm going to do everything for you. That's not helpful at all. It's very much I'm going to love myself through this. I'm going to love the journey. I'm going to love the fact that, I was shown this opportunity, this growth opportunity, and I'm going to honor myself and honor you enough to give myself the space I need to figure it out in some level. And if you are in a mature relationship with someone, they will respect that. And those that don't respect that probably don't realize that they have no boundaries. And they have no boundaries because they've been conditioned to believe that they can't have boundaries, that they don't have a bubble of protection, and so what they're feeling is everybody else's energy, and they are reacting out of that. And those people, my heart goes out to them, because they don't need to live life that way. They don't need to live life that way. And side note, that's like a blocked open chakra in some situations, or most situations. It's a blocked open chakra, and they're reacting because they're wide open. They're wide open. And they don't need to be. They don't need to be. Okay, so my goodness. Okay. Health. I'm like so excited for this one. Abundance of changes are flowing in. Abundant changes are flowing in. Yes! Yes! Abundant changes are flowing in for health. We have manifested the changes we need for our own health. Now, health is our mental health, our physical health, our emotional health, your spiritual well-being. It is our overall well-being. Now, what have we been experiencing for the last 21 months? I don't know, maybe like turmoil and stress and overwhelm and anxiety and depression and an increase in mental health strains. And it's mostly because of the energies that were happening, and people were looking outside of themselves and not trusting their inner self. not connecting with their inner intuition to help them reconnect and love themselves through the journey and heal what they need to heal. But people are doing more of that now. People are doing more of that now, and they're starting to see the power they have within them. And they're starting to see what's possible for them. And it's helping alleviate that. Not only is that the inner work that we're doing is helping us calm the outer storm in some way. And it may not look like it this very moment that I'm recording this video, but I see, everything I see points to it calming down and resolution happening. And I'm so excited, and I'm so freaking proud of every one of you that contributed to this moment. And I want you, when this moment comes in, I want you to trust that this moment is coming in, and I want you to celebrate it in huge ways when it does, when we actually see what we know inside, when we actually see it happening in our reality. The celebrations that we're going to experience, that we're actually going to allow ourselves to do, will help ease the transitions that need to be made in our foundational systems. So knowing that things are resolved from a health mindset, from a health perspective, is going to help the transitions that need to be made on many different fronts. And that's what happens when truth comes. When truth is healing. Truth is healing. If you're open to seeing truth, it is healing for you. And God is good. That's all I have to say. God is good. Okay, so I don't know what exactly is coming. I have an idea, but know and trust that it will be resolved. Okay, wealth. Now, wealth is, like I mentioned, quality of life. It's not just our financial system, but it's our overall quality of life. How we feel in our days, how we want to experience life. And I mean that from a very active participant, intentional participant in your life in general. And it is really just going, this is how I want my life to look like. This is how I want to feel. And not necessarily from a material standpoint, but from a feeling, an energetic feeling. Because I can be camping in a tent with my family and have the same feelings that I have when I'm in a 5-star hotel with my family. It doesn't matter where I am. It's the feeling that matters. The quality of life is the same to me. Do you hear me? Do you feel me? This is what I'm getting at. This is why it's important for you. This is why I encourage people to do the Ultimate Life Goal Journal that I have on my website, because it ignites those, it gets you thinking about your quality of life that you want to have, the types of relationships that you want to have, how you want to step into those relationships and act in those relationships, and how you want to be in life. And I love having that foundational feeling, because as soon as I step off that in some way, I know that I'm out of alignment. I know that something's off. And I can figure it out faster. So the message that I got for wealth, or the quality of life, was Your quality of life is being restored as calming and healing energy flows in for the world. So we have calming and healing energy flowing in to the world, and it is going to restore our quality of life for many of us. For many of us. Not everyone. Meaning that if the higher ups in the leadership positions made some questionable choices that created some karma, they may not be doing so good. But they'll have their own healing that they'll need to do to work through that karma. The rest of us, though, that have been affected by it in some way, will have calming and healing energies that will come in, that are flowing in to help us heal through it and sort through it and see the truth and improve our quality of life going forward. The universe has helped people in this world make the changes that need to be done in the background to help us enter into this new age. Plans were made, preparations were done to try and mitigate massive crashes in the entire system. So that we can transition easier. It's still going to be an adjustment. It's still, because let's face it, people like really have a hard time with, as an industrial engineer, I saw this all the time. People would say, well, we've always done it this way. Well, what if we could do it better? What if the new way of doing it was more efficient and more beneficial for everyone involved? We are supported always. Even if it doesn't make sense, even if we feel like, even if things get very uncomfortable, we are supported always. We are supported always. Okay, so number five, personal development. You have survived the storm. Now is the time to allow harmonious change to bring forth abundance. You have survived the storm. Now is the time to allow harmonious change to bring forth abundance. Whatever little storms are left inside of you, whatever storms are inside of you, allow the healing energy to come through. Allow the loving energy to show you what you need to heal and release what you need to release and surrender to what you need to surrender to. Love yourself through this. Be the change that you need. Trust that you are supported. And love your journey, no matter what you're being shown. You know, there's a lot of people have a hard time loving themselves because they've been conditioned to believe that A, they're not lovable in some way, or B, their love is not worthy. So why would they give themselves love if their love is not worthy? I want you to know that God doesn't see you that way. That loving energy that we use to love other people isn't tainted. That loving energy that we have flowing through us that we can accept and give to ourselves is pure from God. That loving energy keeps us grounded. It is the gravitational pull that we have. that keeps us from floating around on earth. That's God's love. So how do we accept it? How do we use it? How do we feel it? We need to choose to accept it. We need to choose to love ourselves, and we need to choose to love our journey. When we accept those things, when we accept that choice as where we're going to start, we can feel the love. We can feel the loving energy healing us, protecting us, and supporting us always. Brings me to number 6. Spirituality. Okay. Now, spirituality, a lot of people think that spirituality has to do with a religion, a specific religion. It doesn't. Spirituality to me is really not about the dogma. It's not about the specifics of what's like in the Bible or whatever book you want to, like, it's not about that. Spirituality is about looking within. It is about developing a relationship with yourself and with this higher power that created us, that created our world, that created our universe, and that one source provider. So when we develop a deep relationship with ourselves, we naturally get to know that one source provider in a very intimate way that is sacred. And then we get to love our journey through it all. And we understand that there's things that happen that are just part of the plan. There's things that happen that give us the growth opportunities that we need. There's things that happen that because of other people being struggling or working through the energies that they've accepted as their own, and it's all a journey. It's all a journey. So from a spirituality point of view, it's a pillar because it's extremely important for our journey in life. And it's not necessarily it's not connected to our religious beliefs. It is truly a relationship with ourself first, and then our relationship with our one source provider as that naturally comes based on our own choices. And so the message that my guides wanted to give you was that gifts of earthly resources are possible for us. So we have, and I didn't write this down. For many of us, we have birthed this new possibility for our future because we've done the inner work. We've released a lot of the old beliefs that we had. We've released a lot of the muck, the lower dense energy, and we have raised our vibrations to help Earth heal in some way, to help the collective raise their vibrations and heal in some way. And that was loosening the grip on old beliefs. That was and old beliefs and values that no longer fit us. So if you are still struggling with some of that, maybe you're being shown that there's a belief or a value that you've held onto about yourself that doesn't fit with who you are now. Maybe we've been conditioned to believe, we have been conditioned to believe many untruths about ourselves. And so as those are shown to us, and we see, and we're open to seeing the truth, we can release that old and accept the new. And when we do that, we are also calling in new opportunities that are huge resources and confirmation that the abundance that God has waiting for us is possible for us. Now, what do we do with those things? What do we do with those things after we receive them? Well, for some, you may look at it and go, I'm not worthy of receiving this, and God would disagree. So you maybe need to look at that as a way to humbly use it for good in some way. And that might be, getting yourself set up so that you could actually step into your purpose in life, so that you could help more people in the world. Doesn't mean necessarily that you give everything away. It just means that you use it for good. It means that you no longer need to worry and struggle. You can release the worries and struggle, which are shadow, and God doesn't want you holding that shadow energy. God wants you to thrive. God wants you to thrive and be of service to others. Because that's the loving energy that He has for us. That's the loving energy that we need to choose to accept. So I talk a lot about sacrifice and surrender. Now, we have been conditioned to believe that sacrifice and surrender is bad. Is a negative thing. Sacrifice is giving something that we love in the hopes of we will receive something better. That is not what it is at all. Sacrifice is giving up what no longer serves you anymore, what is holding you back, so that you can be open to receiving what's possible for you. The surrender is getting to that point where, what do I need to see in order to sacrifice and receive what's meant for me? Surrendering is that energy of, I am willing to do whatever's necessary to be of service, to be the change that I need, and to be the change the world needs. Sacrifice is what's holding me back from doing that. What do I need to release in order to step forward, to step into that light? The gifts of earthly resources are possible for us if we're willing to do what we need to do to be the change that we need, to be the change the world needs. So tell me this, I'm going to end this on a good note. How can you be the change that you need so that you can be the change the world needs? I'm sending you all much love. If this resonated with you in any way, or if you'd like more information about our Soul Talk membership, please share, love, and subscribe to this video. If you'd like to support me in some small way, you can buy me a virtual coffee. Every virtual coffee helps in some small way to help support my family. The membership options are below. The link is below. And you're welcome. There's absolutely no obligation on how long you stay. You can go month to month. You can buy the full year up front. It does not matter to me. It's completely at your discretion. And I want you all to know from the bottom of my heart, thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, be simply you.